Okay, so have you ever, like, you're just watching your dog, right? And they do something and you're just like, what in the world is going on in that furry little head? Like, what
Oh,
is
yeah.
that all about?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, dogs are just, they're full of these little mysteries, aren't they?
Totally. And today we're gonna, like, really dive deep into that world and decode 15 of the most common and sometimes, like, seriously quirky dog
Right.
behaviors.
It's going to be fun.
I know. And, we've been doing a lot of research for this deep dive, right? We've been kind of sifting through all the latest in dog behavior. And really digging into, like, our own experiences too.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think there's so much we can learn from both the science and just from like really observing our own dogs.
Totally. So, like, everything from those crazy zoomies, those bursts of energy where they just go nuts, to that thing they do where they, like, bring you their muddy tennis ball. Like, what is that all about?
Right. Like why do they feel the need to share their slightly disgusting treasures with us?
Exactly. So, our mission today is really simple. We want to help you understand your dog just a little bit better.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most rewarding things about being a dog owner is just that journey of understanding, what makes them tick.
Totally. So, let's kick things off with one of the most entertaining behaviors. And that is, of course, the zoomies.
Oh yes, the Zuvi.
You're just sitting there, maybe you just had dinner or you gave your dog a bath, and suddenly it's like someone flipped a switch and they're just off to the races.
Yeah, it's like they've had like 5 espressos or something.
Exactly. They're running around the house like a little furry tornado. So what is it about that, like, sudden explosion of energy? Like, where does that come from?
Well, you can kind of think of the Zoomies as a pressure release valve.
Mm.
It's all that pent up energy, excitement, maybe a little bit of stress even that just needs an outlet.
Yeah.
And so they just kind of explode. And you see it a lot in puppies, obviously, because they just have, boundless energy. But adult dogs get the Zoomies too. And it can be triggered by all sorts of things. Maybe they've been cooped up for a while. Maybe they just had a bath, anything that gets them kind of riled up.
So it's not just like random craziness.
Right. It's not just them being goofy, although it does look pretty goofy.
It totally does. What you're saying is, like, if my dog's getting the zoomies, maybe I need to give him a little more exercise.
Exactly. Yeah, that could be a sign that they need to burn off some energy. Or maybe they're just really excited about something and they need a way to express it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, now what about tail chasing? That classic, like, busying swirl where they're trying to catch their own tail. Is that just a dog being a dog, or is there, like, a deeper meaning behind that?
It really depends.
Mm-hmm.
For puppies, a lot of times it's just exploration. They're discovering their bodies, figuring out what that thing attached to their rear end actually is. But for adult dogs, it can be a little bit more complicated. So sometimes it's boredom. They might realize that spinning around gets a reaction out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Or they might just want to play. So it can be a way of seeking attention. But here's the thing. If you see your dog chasing their tail constantly, like really obsessively, that could actually be a sign of an underlying issue.
Really?
Yeah, it could be something like fleas or allergies, something that's irritating their skin. Or it could even be a sign of anxiety. So it's important to pay attention to the context. If it's just an occasional chase, probably no big deal. But if it's happening all the time, definitely worth talking to your vet.
Okay, so, like, a little chasing is fine, but nonstop chasing, time for a checkup.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, let's talk about face licking. Those super enthusiastic greetings where it feels like they're trying to wash your entire face with their tongue.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can be a little much.
It can be. But where does that come from?
Well, believe it or not, it actually has roots in their wolf ancestry. So wolf pups would lick their mother's muzzles to encourage them to regurgitate food.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of gross. But it's how they survived. But even though our dogs don't need to do that anymore, the instinct to lick as a form of communication and bonding that's stuck around. So when your dog licks your face, it's their way of showing affection, respect. And believe it or not, they're also gathering information about you. They're basically tasting where you've been and what you've eaten.
So it's like a little doggy investigation.
Exactly. It's all about scent and taste for them.
Okay, I'll try to appreciate the investigative licks a little more.
Yeah.
Now, here's a behavior that always gets me the head tilt. It is so stinking cute. But is there an actual reason behind that adorable cock of the head?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just about melting our hearts. So when dogs tilt their head, it actually helps them locate sounds more effectively.
Really?
Yeah, it's like they're trying to pinpoint where the sound is coming from And there's also some research that suggests they do it to better align their snout and eyes
Yeah.
to process our facial expressions.
Oh, wow.
So they're really trying to understand what we're saying, both verbally and non-verbally. They're putting in the effort to communicate with us.
So it's like they're really trying to get us?
Exactly. They're like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
That's so sweet. Okay, what about when they decide that your freshly laundered sweater is the perfect napping spot? Like, why are they so drawn to our clothes?
Oh, that's all about scent. So your clothes, they're covered in your unique smell. And for your dog, that smell represents safety, security, and it's a reminder of you, their pack leader. So when they curl up on your clothes, it's like having a little piece of you with them. And that can be really comforting, especially when you're not around.
It's like a little wearable security blanket.
Exactly.
Okay, have you ever watched your dog do that thing where they circle around a few times before they finally settle down for a nap?
Oh, yeah, the pre-sleep spins.
Yeah. Like, what's up with that?
Well, that one's actually pretty fascinating. So it's believed to be a leftover instinct from their wild ancestors.
Yeah.
So in the wild canids, like wolves would circle around to flatten down vegetation before they lay down. So it was a way to create a more comfortable and safe bed. And even though our dogs, they have these nice comfy beds,
Yeah.
they still have that instinct to kind of prepare their sleeping area.
So even on the softest bed, they're still channeling their inner wolf.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another one. You walk through the door after a long day, and your dog greets you with this, like, full-body stretch.
Oh, yeah.
Is that just them limbering up, or is that a specific type of doggy hello?
It's definitely a greeting. They're so happy to see you. And that stretch, it's like a physical manifestation of their excitement. It's like they're saying, oh my gosh, you're home. I'm so happy. And it's also an invitation for interaction. So when you're a dog, does that make sure to give them some love? Maybe a scratch behind the ears, or even play with them for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that reinforces that positive greeting. And it just strengthens that bond between you.
So it's like their way of saying, yay, you're here, let's hang out. Okay, next up we got to talk about the post-potty power kick. You know when they do their business and then they just go to town scratching at the ground with their hind legs? Like, what's the deal with that?
Okay, so contrary to popular belief, they're not trying to bury their poop.
Oh.
Yeah. It's all about scent marking. So dogs have scent glands in their paw pads. When they scratch at the ground after they go, they're actually releasing their unique odor. It's like they're leaving a little message for other dogs.
It's like their own personal signature.
Exactly. It's like, this is my territory.
Okay, so it's less about tidiness and more about broadcasting their presence.
Exactly.
Got it. What about eating grass? I feel like you see dogs munching on grass all the time. Are they like trying to get some extra nutrients or what's going on there?
It's a really common behavior, and there are a few different theories about why they do it. Some dogs just seem to enjoy the taste or the texture of grass. Others might eat it to help with digestion. Maybe they need a little extra fiber in their diet. And then there's the theory that they eat grass to induce vomiting if they have an upset stomach.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so if they're feeling nauseous, they might eat some grass to try to make themselves throw up.
Okay.
But the good news is that occasional grass eating is usually not a cause for concern. But if you notice that your dog is eating grass all the time, or they're vomiting a lot after eating grass, definitely talk to your vet.
Okay, so just a nibble here and there, probably fine. Constant grass munching, maybe time for a checkup.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's dig into digging. Like, why do dogs love to create giant holes in our yards?
Yeah, who needs a perfectly manicured lawn anyway, right?
Right.
So digging is another one of those deeply ingrained instincts, and it can serve a few different purposes. So sometimes they dig to create a cool spot to lie down in. If it's a hot day, they might dig a hole to escape the heat.
Makes sense.
Or they might dig to bury their treasures, like a bone or a favorite toy. Or sometimes they just dig for the fun of it. They just enjoy the activity.
So it's not always about escaping the yard.
Right. And if you have a pregnant dog, you might see them digging to create a nest for their puppies.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So it's really about instinct. But if you're dealing with a dog who just can't stop digging, maybe they need a little more mental stimulation.
Okay.
Yeah, so giving them plenty of interactive toys and making sure they're getting enough exercise can help.
So basically redirect that digging energy into something more productive.
Exactly.
All right, let's talk about a behavior that I think can be a little embarrassing for dog owners. The dreaded bump scoot. When they drag their rear ends across the carpet? Like, why do they do that?
Oh yeah, the bum scoot. It's definitely not the most glamorous dog behavior.
Not at all. But what's causing it?
Well, usually it's a sign that their anal glands are bothering them.
Anal glands. What are those?
So there are these little sacs located on either side of the anus, and they secrete a fluid that has a really strong odor.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it's not the best smell.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes these glands can get impacted or infected or inflamed, and it can be really uncomfortable for your dog. So they scoot to try to relieve the pressure or the itching.
Okay, so if I see my dog doing the bum scoot, it's definitely time to call the vet.
Yeah, it's best to get it checked out
Yeah,
because sometimes they need a little help from the vet to express those glands.
got it. All right, let's shift gears and talk about a more social behavior. Licking other dogs' ears. Like, what's the doggy etiquette there?
Now, licking another dog's ears can have a few different meanings. So sometimes it's a form of grooming,
Right.
they're helping each other stay clean.
Okay.
But it can also be a sign of affection.
Mhm.
It's their way of showing that they care about each other.
Oh.
And believe it or not, dogs can actually gather information about another dog's health through their scent.
Really?
Yeah, so when they lick each other's ears, they're kind of checking in on their buddy.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's like their way of saying, hey, how are you doing?
Okay, what about yawning? Like, we all know what it means when we yawn, but do dogs yawn for the same reason?
Yeah, sometimes they do yawn when they're tired. But yawning can also be a sign of anxiety or stress.
Really?
Yeah, so it's kind of their way of calming themselves down.
Oh, interesting.
Or it could be a sign of appeasement. They're trying to show another dog or a person that they're not a threat. And believe it or not, dogs can also yawn when they're excited.
So a yawn doesn't always mean they're sleepy.
Nope, it's all about context. So you have to pay attention to their body language and what's happening around them.
Got it. Okay, let's go back to potty habits for a second. We talked about circling before lying down. But why do some dogs circle before they poop?
So there are a couple of theories about this one. Some people think that dogs might be aligning their bodies with the Earth's magnetic field when they go.
What?
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but there have actually been studies that show that dogs tend to prefer a north-south axis when they're doing their business.
Who knew?
I know, it's pretty wild. And another theory is that circling behavior is just a way for them to check their surroundings. Make sure it's safe before they make themselves vulnerable.
It's like a little security sweep.
Exactly.
Okay, last but not least, let's talk about those heartwarming gifts. You know when your dog brings you their slobbery toy? Or a random sock, or even like a particularly disgusting stick they found outside?
Oh yeah, the gifts.
Why do they do that?
Well, it's actually a huge compliment. So when your dog brings you a gift, it's their way of showing you affection and trust.
Oh.
They're sharing something that they value with you, their pack leader, and they often want to play with you with that gift.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. So even if the gift isn't exactly what you were hoping for,
Right.
try to react positively because it really means a lot to them.
It's like their way of saying, I love you. Here's a slightly slobbery token of my appreciation.
Exactly.
This has been so insightful. I feel like I'm finally starting to understand my dog a little bit better.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can learn when you really start paying attention to their behavior.
It really is.
Yeah.
And, speaking of understanding your dog and strengthening that bond and really tapping into their intelligence, there's this incredible program that I think you'll love.
Oh yeah. Tell me more.
It's called Brain Training for Dogs by Adrienne Faircelli.
I've heard great things.
Oh, it's amazing. It's basically like a brain gym for your dog.
I love that.
Yeah, and it's packed with all these interactive games and activities that really challenge your dog mentally. And, as we've been talking about, mental stimulation is just as important as physical exercise for dogs.
Absolutely. It keeps them sharp and engaged.
Totally. And the best part is that it's fun. You're actually playing games with your dog and teaching them new things at the same time.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So if you're interested in learning more about brain training for dogs, there's a link in the video description below and in the first pinned comment.
Awesome.
It's really a game changer for dog owners.
It's like we were saying earlier about digging. If your dog's digging out of boredom, giving them something mentally stimulating like brain training can really help.
Totally. It gives them a positive outlet for all that energy and curiosity.
Yeah, and it strengthens your bond because you're learning and growing together.
Exactly. So as you continue on your journey with your amazing dog, take a moment to observe their behaviors with this new understanding. Really see what you're trying to tell you.
Yeah, I think that's the key.
What new insights will you bring to your interactions today? And what behaviors surprised you the most? Maybe even changed how you see your dog?
That's a great question for everyone to think about.
It is. Thank you so much for diving deep with us into the fascinating world of dog behavior.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time.
Happy tail wags.
Bye.
Bye.